Good evening, everybody. If you are looking for markets, trade recaps, and general information about what you should be doing right now when trading, then you have found the right place. You have found Riz International. And this is our weekly market recap that we hold for all of our elite members. Of course, we're giving it to you on YouTube as well. But if you want to be part of it, you need to be part of Riz Elite. And so, guys, make sure you go to the link down in the description. Make sure you get on our mailing list for the next time we open up Elite membership, because you are not going to want to miss out on this and everything else that we have going on in Riz Elite right now. But let's just go ahead and start by taking a look at the S&P 500 here. And if you ever wondered what a bull run looks like, this is it. I mean, it's been pretty much nonstop for the S&P 500, except especially Thursday and Friday. Huge green engulfing candles, really good. Actually, my mistake, that is not an engulfing candle. I know the YouTube comments will slaughter me if I don't correct myself there. But yeah, Friday making a new all-time high on the S&P 500, closing almost right on it. The new all-time high is 4,608 and 8 cents on the S&P 500. So just blasting over the last couple of weeks. We had this dip. This was somewhat expected. I remember the webinar. I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember we were sitting on here. Riz told us about these levels that he was keeping an eye on, and 4,300, that was it. That was support. We bounced off of it, what, 4 times? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 times. And then off we went, and off we continue to go. Now, it's interesting. What I've been noticing a lot of is, during earnings, and you'll see this kind of in some of our trades that we've taken this week that I'll go over here a little bit later, that, earnings for a lot of these companies may actually be very positive. There are several of them that we were able to get in on that had really pretty good earnings numbers, but yet the market punished them for it. And a lot of people ask me, it's like, well, why does that happen? Why is it that if they beat expectations that they sometimes, just get absolutely murdered as far as the stock price is concerned? And it comes down to a couple things. My personal favorite, of course, is guidance. If guidance isn't as good as they wanted it to be, or as good as the investors think it should be, they may just sell their positions. Be like, oh, well, yeah, you beat earnings, but you're not going to be doing as good as we'd hoped you would be doing. And so we'll punish you for that. The other one, of course, is, psychological. It's like, yeah, they beat earnings, but really expected them to beat it better. So yeah, I guess it's not good enough for my position. And then you get this massive sell-off. So there are a couple reasons why that can happen. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense, especially if you just look at the numbers like, well, their EPS is in line or better than what they expected. Why did the stock price go down? It happens. It's one of those things about perception. The way that the investors perceive the earnings report is so incredibly important, and it can be difficult to predict that. And so you'll see that in some of our dip buy plays. You'll notice that we didn't buy any of these for the most part pre-earnings, unless we already had a position. And this is exactly the reason why, because you do have these nonsensical moves sometimes in securities that report earnings, they beat, and then they just get hammered. So let's continue. Let's take a look here at the S&P 500. Energy still the top dog, of course, that being driven by oil prices, which we'll take a look at here in just a minute. Financials and real estate still in the number 2 and number 3 spot. Tech is still just hanging right around the S&P 500, represented by the SPY ETF here. And then healthcare and utilities underperforming the S&P 500, but all still green on the year. The only thing that is not in double-digit gains this year is utilities, which is only up 6.71%. A paltry 6.71%, I may add, when compared to the S&P 500 or the SPY itself, which is up over 22% so far this year. So really ridiculous moves, if you ask me, considering what we've been going through and everything like that. But the market's doing what the market's doing, and we just have to trade what we have in front of us, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we had that that pullback in the market, and here it is, nothing but green skies ever since. So all the sectors are up for the most part and looking very, very solid. Utilities is kind of consolidating a bit here, though. Healthcare is moving up, tech is moving up, real estate, financials, energy is stumbling just a little bit. And we'll take a look at that right now. As you can see here, with oil prices coming back a little bit this week, I don't know about you, but I'm paying more at the pump than I used to about a year ago. But such is life. It is the situation we have to deal with right now. Oil looks like we touched. How high did we get here? 85.41 per barrel. That is crazy. I know Riz was saying he thought he could make it to 80 a barrel. Well, we're well past 80 a barrel now. Looks like we closed here on Friday. Where is it? 83.57. So about 83.50 per barrel. Gold, not doing much. I kind of feel like a broken record when it comes to talking about gold, but yeah, just really kind of slowly grinding towards the upside right now. No real big moves that we want to play, and we don't have a position in gold right now. But it is one of those commodities that people do like to track, and so we do like to talk about it. But yeah, sitting currently at $1,782.76. That was good, 72.6. Let's try it again. $1,782.76 per ounce. There we go. We were able to spit it out. Talking is hard. All right, talking about something that is actually moving. Let's take a look here at Bitcoin breaking the all-time high last week here on the 20th. It has somewhat pulled back here to this previous support level that we saw here right around this 58,000, 58.5. That range there seems to be holding for Bitcoin, and it has recovered a bit, opening pretty soft so far in the first 10 minutes of the crypto trading day. Yeah, Bitcoin is just steamrolling right now, has been since we, had this bit of a pullback here on the end of September. Just been nothing but green skies on Bitcoin. So if you're holding that, congratulations. If not, well, that's okay. I'm not either. All right, let's take a look at some of the trades that we took this week. I pulled this off, and I actually got this question sent to me through PM, and I do want to encourage all of our elite members that if you do have a question, you can't make it to the live webinar, please don't hesitate to shoot me a PM. I'm more than happy to talk to you about, or talk on the webinar rather, about any questions you may have. But the first one is PayPal. All right, so PayPal here. Now, I know a lot of us were in Pinterest before, and that had been the ire of many of us here on Riz Elite, because that thing just did not want to go. Let's take a look at Pinterest. Right here is when PayPal announced the news that they were considering possibly buying Pinterest. Pinterest spiked, and I don't know about you, but I sure as goodness got out of that. And thank heavens, finally we got the move we were looking for. But man, if you hold the bag on this one, not a good thing, because now we are even lower than we were before the news, and actually before the lowest point here on Pinterest. So I hope everybody got out on that spike, because that was what it was there for. We got it, and congratulations. But PayPal getting absolutely hammered as far as stock prices are concerned. You can see the ridiculous amount of volume here over the last, let's see, about 7 trading days. So I'm counting that right. 1, 2, 3, 8 trading days. I missed a bar. So, the question is, why is it going down? Well, you have to understand, when a company acquires another company, that's seen as a negative cash position, right? So it's cash negative. They have to pay money to acquire that company. So oftentimes when you see, let's say, for example, this company, PayPal, and this is, of course, only on news. They haven't actually finalized it yet. They said they were in talks about it. Yeah, they get this news that, oh, we're thinking about buying Pinterest for, this amount of money. And investors freak out. They're like, oh my gosh, their bottom line is going to change. It's not going to be as good. It's going to have this much negative on the balance sheet now. And my long-term investments, oh, they're doomed. And so they sell. And that's exactly what we've been seeing here. So the question came up like, what's going on? That's what's going on. You're having a lot of people freak out that they're going to have maybe negative earnings or things like that. But it's mostly a catalyst towards the announcement that they're considering to buy Pinterest. It's still going. When's the bleeding going to stop? Good question. Looks like we have some support here, probably around 229, 230, somewhere in that area. And then, we have an inflection point here around 223. So those would be your next levels on the way down. We'll have to see if it can hold over those, or if we do start to take the rebound there. But as Riz said, taking a smaller position size on this one. And again, I'm not recommending anybody take this, of course. This is just letting you know what we have taken, and you can make your own positions and your own decisions of your own accord. Now, Riz is in this only half size right now, but again, fantastic company, doing a lot of good stuff, and the numbers have been in line for quite some time. If you see all these green E marks down here, so PayPal is just fine, even if they are going to have a little bit negative on the balance sheet. If they do acquire Pinterest, could be a very good business move for them. One that people have been definitely looking at a lot this week is Facebook. So we went ahead again. This is what I'm talking about here with these earnings, right? So they beat earnings by 3 cents per share. Okay, not spectacular, but hey, they did better than what they thought they did, and the market punishes them. So we kind of got in on this on the dip. I know Riz sent multiple alerts on this throughout the week because he was averaging in. I know I'm in this one personally, and I'm pretty happy right now. I'll be honest with you about that because I got in a little bit after Riz's first alert on the 26th and looking very, very nice here. We found the bottom. We've rebounded. Looks like we pushed over the 200 simple moving average right now. So looking very, very nice here on Facebook and already past profit target 1. So congratulations if you got in on that first trade. Another one that got absolutely wrecked post earnings is Visa. Visa just got destroyed, even though they beat by 7 cents per share. Revenue was even higher than expected. But yeah, down she goes. That is just a buying opportunity for us, guys. That's really what it comes down to. Now, this one, we got in a little bit early. On these knife catch plays like this, sometimes you are going to have to hold through a little bit of pain. Obviously, day 2, after earnings, that huge red candle, that was a bit of a bummer. But on Friday, we did have some rebound here on Visa. We are sitting right at or close to our stop loss of 210. Again, not going to, have a hard stop on this, as most of our trades don't, guys. The stop loss on there is more to give you an idea of the levels that we're looking at for potential areas where we may want to exit. But for the most part, we're not using hard stops here. And, but you can go forward according to your own risk tolerance levels and things of that nature. But we're still holding on to Visa here and looking just fine. Looks like the bounce has begun, so hopefully we'll get that here in a few days. TWLO, Twilio, again, a slaughter post earnings. I feel like a bit of a broken record here. Got in this one on the dip on Thursday in long at 285.50. Looking fantastic, up over $6 per share currently on Twilio. So great. If you took that, I see 22 people at least in the chat went ahead and got in on that. So congratulations. Looking very nice. Whole lot of space here, guys. I mean, we got a whole lot of space to go where we can recover on Twilio. It was a bit of a downslide here, pre-earnings, a little bit of maybe anticipation that earnings wouldn't be good enough. Let's see here. Oops, I meant to hit my clicker. There we go. 100% beat. Spectacular. But you see, they're still losing money. Or no, they're not. They are making money. Okay. So, yeah, good earnings on Twilio, but just not being received very well by the market. It is what it is. Okay. So, yeah, Riz is in 75% on PayPal. Okay. So, yeah, looking just fine on PayPal. Going back to that. Again, guys, this is just a bit of a knee-jerk reaction from the market and from the news, and it's holding on a little bit longer than what you would usually see on a news catalyst like this. Though I will say volume is starting to come back down towards Earth, and I think we'll be just fine. If you want to average down, you can always do that. Not necessarily advising you either direction here, but you definitely can if you want, if you got in on the original alert. So that is the trades that we took this week. Want to go ahead and open it up to the floor for you guys. If you have questions, things you want to talk about, market related stuff, by all means, post it in here and I'll be more than happy to take a look at what is, scratching the back of your head, making you wonder, oh, should I look at this? Should I go for this? Let me know what you got. Pen. Okay. Don't know that one. And National Gaming. Well, that sounds fun. This totally is a stock I should be in. Not overly exciting here on Penn, to be honest with you. Earnings coming up here on the 4th, so be aware of that. We're basically just in a channel here. This is kind of the bottom of the channel. This is, relatively speaking, our top, and we're just kind of trading in that area. Of course, we pushed out and came back in a couple times, but, for the most part, it's not doing all that much. Okay, I'll take a look at that in just a second, Renz. I don't love this one. I don't know Penn National Gaming at all. Sounds cool. Looks like numbers are pretty decent here recently. I love it. They miss on earnings and revenue, and so they gap up. It makes sense. Makes complete sense. So yeah, I mean, numbers seem pretty decent. They're not doing too great as far as making money. It looks like they are now. So yeah, this could be a bit of a sell-off in anticipation of earnings here coming up in a couple days. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, if you like this company, again, I'm not too familiar with this one. I'll have to look more into it. Looks like it's been around for a while. Wow, Liam just dropping them all in here. I'll take a look at those in just a second. Yeah, I'd be really careful with earnings coming up. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Casinos, stuff like that. That sounds fun. Those typically make money. That's what I've heard. Isn't it the thing? The house always wins, right? So we'll have to wait and see if that is true with the stock price here. But really getting killed here since about March. Really, really a big downtrend on this. And then we kind of found support here in this area around the 63, and just kind of trading sideways here lately. Let's see here. That looks pretty nice too. I still see the channel more so as being here. So we'll have to wait and see if this support holds here or if earnings push it lower. So just be careful on that one, Matthew. All right. Renz says he's taking a short position in AMD. How dare you? How dare you? I can imagine why, because that's a pretty good spot to short. If you are still holding this short, be incredibly careful on this. We have a beat on earnings here, and they're starting to just roll over a little bit. I would not hold anything short long-term, Renz, especially because you have to hold on margin when shorting. So be very, very careful with that. Keep that thing on a short leash and take your money when you can, because I'm concerned. Yes, we are incredibly extended. There's no doubt that we are extended past the moving averages here. So I make no illusions about that. But when you have these ones that beat earnings and they just kind of curl back down a little bit, and then they just seem to hesitate some, that's usually when it's building up for a push to the north side. So be very careful with that, short Renz. And if you do are able to manage to close it for profit, then by all means do so. Don't hold this thing short for too long. All right, so Miguel said he took J&J. He took calls. That's gutsy. That's incredibly gutsy. I'm not sure what you're seeing here, Miguel, but when did you take him? You take him Friday? We'll let him answer that here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, solid bounce off of the 200 moving average, and more to the downside. Ooh, this is spicy, bro. I mean, it could work out really well for you. It also could really okay. So you took it Friday, hoping here to see more of a bounce on Monday. I mean, it can, but you have both of these moving averages sitting right on top of each other. You got the 50 and the 200. That should be some pretty strong resistance there. So just be careful with your theta decay on that the call option there, because it's not looking so good. Well, I mean, that's just a 1 day, and I would contest that we did not make a higher high here on Friday. Did we bounce? Yes, we bounced. We found support, but it's not a higher high. That would be, if you were going to do that, basing it off the previous day, you need to be over 165. So, it's a risk. I'm not going to lie. Just be really careful with this one, because I think that one could potentially expire on you, and not in the way that you want. So be very, very careful with that. I'm a little concerned about it, to be honest with you. All right, Liam wants me to take a look at NVS, JYNT, and FL. All right, well, let's start with NVS. Says they're looking spicy. I'm not sure what type of spice this is. I think this is about bell pepper spice, if you have to ask me. Novartis, of course, I think most of us know Novartis is a biotech company. I mean, yeah, we found support down here, off of this 82.30-ish. So it is consolidating. I'll give it that much. After it got wrecked here, I need to look back and see if there's a news catalyst for that. That looks like a catalyst type of drop. We have found the bottom, and we seem to be holding. So Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Novartis doesn't seem to move a whole lot intraday. It seems to, well, I should take that back. It does. But it's not as smooth as other companies. I would say it's a lot more gappy. So it moves up a little bit. And then, next day in between it gaps like this. And then we gap here. And then we gap down. And we gapped really down there. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Do I love it? No. I mean, all the moving averages are crashing down. Of course, it's following this trend here for the most part. But yeah, the 90s crossed over the 100 or the 200 here. Again, not spectacular. You put that to the 100 moving average, and then you have what's referred to as the death cross, which is where the 100 crosses below the 200. So not great. If it can hold this level, then yes, I can say that it's looking okay. Earnings seem to be in line, but revenue was not so spectacular. Excuse me. So, I mean, it's okay. I don't love it, but it's not bad, especially if you can hold this area. All right, JYNT. Hard. The Joint Corporation. I wonder who they're jointed with. Okay, I can see where you're going at with this one. Obviously, we had this loss here. That looks like a news catalyst based on that volume. Considering volume is typically 150,000. That's pretty thin. It's not bad. You can see why, because it's got the tails are pretty thick, or pretty long rather. I see your point here. Again, we found support here around 80 or so, and then looks like we're starting to bounce. So it's possible. We have obviously a slight uptrend here. Nothing spectacular or something you got to write home about, but definitely something going on there. This one I like better than the previous one, though I would say Novartis was better. Is better as a company. Again, I don't know the joint company. That a weed stock? It should be. FL Foot Locker, that one I know. All right, so been in a downtrend here since May. Looks like we're starting to maybe potentially curl back up. Hard to say with how far down we've come. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. It definitely has, the potential. Obviously, we are in a bit of an uptrend here, which is nice. We may be able to get in here closer to the bottom of that uptrend, but it has to hold. And that's the big question is, will it hold? We've got the moving averages crashing down that we're going to have to contend with, though there is some space between here and the 200, so it's not too bad. Let's see, how much was the dividend? 30 cents, that's not terrible. Earnings were very nice. And it bounced there, and then it came back. Definitely very interesting ones, Liam, to look at. I mean, as far as company is concerned, I'd have to go with the biotech myself, Novartis, for actually making something. But they looked probably the worst as far as the setup is concerned. I think probably the joint company looked better. And Foot Locker, I'm kind of medium on. BMY, that would be Bristol Myers Squibb, if I recall. Yep. Whoo, man, you thought Novartis got it bad. Look at Bristol Myers. Yeah, same thesis here as Novartis that we saw before for Bristol Myers. Obviously, we've kind of come down. Looks like we may have found some support here, and we might be bouncing back up. Definitely a very strong move on Thursday and Friday, but of course, don't forget exactly what the market was doing on Thursday and Friday as well. Very, very strong here. So, kind of the same concept. Again, we've got a lot of space here that we have to work with. Let's see. Yes, I mean, this 57 area seems to be pretty important. And it definitely held there for the most part, except for Wednesday. Again, the market was down on Wednesday too. But yeah, this one isn't bad. But again, it's the same thing as Novartis, same concept. Okay, so it says they raised their dividend. Let's see here, 49 cents. 49 cents. That might have been on the previous ticker because, yeah, doesn't look like they've done it here on Bristol Myers. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Again, you've got space here. I think with something like this, you need to be ready to hold a little bit longer in case you don't get the bounce as quick as you want. Same concept on Novartis. But yeah, these charts look incredibly similar, honestly. Okay, you're talking about SU. Gotcha. Thank you for that, Matthew. All right, so the next question is SU. Suncor Energy thoughts on re-entering SU. Earnings had a positive catalyst and they raised their dividend. Ooh, I would not buy in at this point. This is a straight up chase. That is exactly what that is. We busted through here, probably the 52-week high, easy, and absolutely just blow it out of the water. Let's see. Obviously, we're in a bit of an uptrend here, longer term, ever since the Corona crash. Though it was, yeah, trading mostly sideways. For the most part, before then. Still haven't gotten back to those levels. That would be a push back to 35 ish. I mean, if you want to chase it, you can. You definitely can. It can continue to go here, and people might be like, "Well, dude, look at the RSI. It's overbought. It's going to turn around." Not necessarily, guys. Just remember, RSI is just one indicator. It is not the indicator. Sadly, there is no the indicator because it is a sum of multiple different things. So definitely nice move here post earnings. Did they miss? Wow, they missed on their EPS and their revenue, and they still are running up high. I guess people like this. Obviously, there's a push for green energy, things like that. Though, no, I was curious if this was the gas stations, but no, that's not it. I would assume that this is, oh yeah, Riz Alpha Cross works pretty well, but it's not a guarantee, Matthew. Trust me, I've seen multiple times where the Alpha Cross has not worked. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, have no idea what I'm talking about. One of the things that you'll get when you take the masterclass is access to Riz's proprietary indicator that we refer to as the Alpha Cross. So you can definitely get that if you do join us for the masterclass. It's definitely something to do. On this one, yeah, I mean, it's going, but if you buy in here, just understand it's a straight chase, and that's what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. It can absolutely work on you, but be careful. I would not recommend going in on something like this full position, nor any of the other dips that we looked at, such as, let's see here, Novartis, the joint company, Foot Locker, and Bristol Myers. I would be very, very careful with those because, again, it's one of those things you don't know how far down it's going to go. Same thing applies here for SU, except in the opposite direction. We don't know how high it's going to go. So I would be very careful with a chase like this. You can definitely do it, but just be aware of what you're doing and understand the potential risks that come with it. It doesn't look terrible. It did bust over the highs here, but honestly, if I were looking at this, I mean, it looks like it wants to roll back over, but let's keep an eye on it. What are my thoughts on Tesla? Well, let's take a look at that powerhouse, shall we? Tesla going absolutely bonkers here post earnings. It has been all the flutter that Tesla surpassed $1 trillion market cap. So congratulations to Elon. I'm sure that he is enjoying it. I have a friend who is very into Tesla, and he's really researched them quite a bit. And there's a lot of things that going into making an electronic vehicle that a lot of other car manufacturers don't quite understand or have the capability to do so. It requires an entirely retooling of your plants and things like that. It's not something that you can just do at the drop of a hat. It's like, oh, we're making sedans, now we're going to make pickup trucks, and it's mostly the same, just with a different chassis on top. EVs are a bit different. So I suspect that Tesla it has more space to go. Would I buy it right now? Oh, flip no, I'm not buying it right now. Are you kidding me? Would I short it either? Nope, I would not. I remember back in my day, let's look here. Back when Tesla was a $300 stock. No, it actually wasn't. It was in this area. Yeah, I remember trading it here like in the 2s and the 300s. Yeah, look at it today. Off she went off and grew up. Now he's a real boy. So, the one thing with Tesla you have to understand is really a hype driven stock. So you have a positive catalyst here, like earnings, even though they lost almost $250 million. It's all good because they still made 13.8. They just missed that target. They were really hoping for that 14, but they just couldn't get there. But beat EPS by 24 cents per share, which is a 15% beat. Very well warranted move here towards the upside on Tesla. It's very impressive. I'm not going to lie. This is a very impressive move by Tesla and very strong. Would I short it? No, because it can just keep going. What's RSI at now? 92. Spectacular. Shorting something like this is a good way to blow up your account. Just remember that the potential loss on a short is infinite. You can completely blow up your account, whereas if you go long on something, typically not going to happen unless the company goes to zero. With a short, the losses are potentially infinite. That scares a lot of people off from it. All it means is that you have to respect your stops a bit more when you short something as opposed to going long, especially shorting some powerhouse like Tesla right now. So I'll say I think Tesla is pretty well positioned for everything that's going on around the globe right now. There could be some secondary catalyst with the talks going on in Scotland here. I believe on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, is when the talks start. So obviously it's interesting because current administration doesn't really like Tesla all that much, and so when they had like an EV day, Tesla was specifically not invited, which I think is kind of about it. It's like having a muscle car day and not inviting like GM or Ford. That's kind of how I equate it to. But that's the current administration for you. But obviously the investors love it. People love it. People like Elon mostly because I think he's an innovator and he's got a lot of ideas. Some of them are pretty freaking wild, but he definitely has ideas. I'm not, signing up for the Tesla space colonization project. I'll tell you that right now. But as far as some of his innovations, as far as self-driving cars are concerned, I'm thoroughly impressed. I've been into Tesla. My friend who is highly invested in this company has one himself. He drove me around in it. Thoroughly impressed. Before I wasn't. Until I sat in one. So if you have the opportunity to do so, I highly recommend it. It is definitely a trip, especially if it has the self-drive feature, which of course, if I ever get one, it's going to have that on that. I can promise you right now. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Tesla. I think it definitely has room to go. Am I buying right now at $1,000 a share? Nope. That's way too rich for my blood, but I ain't shorting it either. So just be careful on this one. I suspect they will split again sometime fairly soon. And you might want to eye a potential entry then at a bit better of a price. But yeah, getting in here at over 1,000 seems like a bit of a chase, even more so than some of the other ones that we've looked at tonight. So great question. Thank you for bringing that up. It's definitely a good ticker to keep an eye on. Oh, no problem. I didn't think you were, but some people might. You got to remember, I'm talking to everybody here. And you may look at a chart like this, you'd be like, dude, it's ripe for a short. I'm totally going to short that into oblivion. No, you're not. No, you are not. And more than likely, you're going to get wrecked by trying to do so. It could work out, but I wouldn't do it. YOLO short puts. I can only imagine what the IV on those is right now. That's the definition of a risky play right there. I have to look. I don't have my eyes on the options change right now. Of course, they're closed because the market's closed. But it would be interesting to see what that is. But yeah, I wouldn't touch it. So my thoughts on this, let's wait for it to split again. Then if you really like the company, that it is definitely a spot where you could possibly get in. Well, that's what you want. If you're writing puts and they'll expire worthless, that's exactly what you want because then you get to keep the premium. So that is a good thing. The last thing you want is to get assigned. And that's what happens if they close in the money. You'll get assigned the shares. and that is our Raptor method. Again, one that you can learn by watching the options masterclass. It is an incredibly potent methodology. Highly recommend that if you haven't taken the options masterclass, go ahead and do that. It definitely opens up an entirely new way to trade and really make a lot of money in the process. I know Riz has made a ridiculous amount with his options rights, really has changed the game for him, and basically gets to print money every week for free. That's always a plus, I've heard. So awesome questions tonight, guys. Really appreciate everybody coming out here on a Saturday night. Of course, if you're watching the replay and you can't make it out on Saturday, please don't hesitate to PM me your questions on Discord, as always. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Really appreciate it. All right, so everybody have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see you in Discord on Monday. Good night, everybody.